say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Honor guard, faith. Forward, heart.
Please remain standing for invocation.
Senior Minister Matthew Sink from Pinedale Christian Church will now lead us in an invocation. Senior Minister Sink, please come forward.
We have a moment of silence, please, in honor of those that we're here to celebrate today, and also those who continue to put their lives on the line for us every day. Lord Jesus, we ask for your presence in this place today. And Lord, that you would be in the midst of us and also that we would recognize your presence. Lord, we pray for peace that surpasses understanding, Lord, peace that comes from you, peace that comforts us as we grieve. And Lord, we pray for the kind of perspective that would remind us that even as we grieve, Lord, that we can also celebrate those who have gone before us. Because, Lord, in you, the grave is not the end. And so, Lord, keep our eyes fixed on a greater purpose. And, Lord, keep that hope alive in our hearts. And so, Lord, fix our eyes on you in this service. We ask this, Jesus, in your name. Amen.
Please be seated.
We are grateful for the service of the Memorial Honor Guard. It is made up of representatives from each agency that lost an officer during 2019 or 2020. K-9 Officer Jordan H. Sheldon, Mooresville Police Department. Deputy McKeem Trell R. Brooks, Northampton County Sheriff's Office. Trooper Nolan J. Sanders, North Carolina State Highway Patrol. Deputy Seepersert Bud Pongprachon, Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. Senior Detention Officer Alexander R. Pettaway, Durham County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Ryan P. Hendricks, Henderson County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Lakaya L. Rouse, Guilford County Sheriff's Office. Lieutenant Terry Sampson, Durham County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Jared M. Allison, Nash County Sheriff's Office. Officer Tyler A. Herndon, Mount Holly Police Department. Master Corporal Norman Day, Jr., Guilford County Sheriff's Office. Officer Jason N. Shuping, Concord Police Department. Good morning. I'm Josh Stein, your North Carolina Attorney General, and it is my tremendous honor to participate in today's Peace Officers Memorial Day service. Thank you all for being here today as we offer praise to those who have given their lives in service to the state of North Carolina and its people. I also want to thank Pinedale Christian Church for its support and use of this beautiful and solemn place, and the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office and Winston-Salem Police Department for being our host agencies this year. I'm also grateful to those of you who planned and are participating in this most important service. In 2020, as the world faced a global pandemic due to COVID-19, we had to make the difficult decision to postpone this service. Last year was the first time since 1986 that North Carolina had not held this event. So today we will honor officers fallen both from 2019 and 2020. North Carolina's honor roll currently honors the life and public service of 508 officers, all of whom paid the ultimate price in service to others and this state. As we gather here, we also honor the families who have been forced to pay a heavy toll. We pray that there will come a time when we do not have to add another name or mourn the loss of another officer. Sadly, we know that will not be the case in 2021, as we have already lost officers this year and will add more names to the honor roll. Even later today, I will be in Boone to attend the funerals of two Watauga County deputies, Sergeant Chris Wood and Deputy Logan Fox. These two law enforcement officers and others will be honored at next year's ceremony. To all of you here or watching online, if you've lost a loved one or colleague being recognized today, please know that we all feel a profound sense of loss from their passing and gratitude for their bravery and service. I'd now like to welcome Chief Katrina Thompson, Winston-Salem Police Department, and Sheriff Bobby Kimbrough, Forsyth County Sheriff's Office, for their remarks.
Good morning. I bring you greetings on behalf of a grateful community, a grateful office of the people, the Sheriff's Office for Forsyth County. We gather here today to honor those heroes and those sheroes who have paid the ultimate price. While we all give something, they gave it all. But I want you to know that we are and they are a part of the fabric that hold the flag together. We are and they are what give hope to the hopeless. We are and they are what gives this life sustainable. And while we have chosen a profession that sometimes is under attack and sometimes underappreciated, we must know that while the road may be rocky and the valley may be dark, we will fear no evil, for thou art with us, because we are the servants of the peacemakers. May God continue to smile upon this great state, this great country, welcome to Forsyth County. Thank you.
Good morning. On behalf of the women and men of the Winston-Salem Police Department, I welcome you all to the city of Winston-Salem. Although our hearts are heavy, we're glad that we can join again in one space to honor the sacrifice of our brothers and sisters and to thank their families for sharing them with us. Last year was an extremely tough year as we were not able to have this ceremony. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to say thank you to the families of those lost in 2019 and in 2020. I also want to take this time to thank the women and men across our country, and especially in the state of North Carolina, for continuing to sacrifice themselves, their lives, their time, and their love for the communities in North Carolina that we serve. Thank you again, and welcome to Winston-Salem.
Thank you, Chief Thompson and Sheriff Kimbrough. At this time, we will have a pre-recorded statement from Governor Cooper, who unfortunately could not be with us today in person.
Hi, everybody. Governor Roy Cooper here. I am so grateful to the men and women who serve so admirably as law enforcement officers across our state. As a legislator, attorney general, and now governor, I've gotten to know so many of you on a personal level. And as many of you have told me, the worst hurt of all is losing one of your own in the line of duty. Today on Peace Officer Memorial Day, we honor those heroes. We can never say enough to thank these officers and their families for making the ultimate sacrifice to protect us. However, we can honor their lives and their memories by pausing to reflect on all the ways they've made North Carolina a safer place, and by making sure we support law enforcement today with better pay, retirement, training, and respect. It has been a challenging year, and it's never been a more difficult time to be in law enforcement. You and your families make tremendous sacrifices to protect our communities and to keep us safe. To the families of the fallen, I say thank you for your sacrifice. And to those fallen officers, we ask for God's blessings and the thanks of North Carolinians all over this state. My prayers are with all of you today. Thank you so much.
And now to present Governor Cooper's proclamation, Colonel Freddie Johnson, Commander, North Carolina State Highway Patrol.
Before I get started, I can't tell you how honored I am to stand before the families and present this on behalf of Governor Cooper. Law Enforcement Officers Month and Peace Officers Memorial Day 2021. By the Governor of the State of North Carolina, a proclamation. Whereas the brave men and women of law enforcement have answered the call to serve and protect our communities, and whereas enduring long shifts in dangerous and unpredictable circumstances, law enforcement officers risk their lives so the communities, families, and people of our state can live in peace and security. And whereas the members of law enforcement agencies play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of all North Carolinians, and whereas the members of law enforcement recognize their duty to serve the people of North Carolina by safeguarding life and property, by protecting against violence and disorder, by protecting the innocent against deception the week against oppression or intimidation. And whereas our nation observes Law Enforcement Officers Week and Peace Officers Memorial Day during the month of May to show these dedicated professionals the appreciation they deserve. And whereas throughout May, law enforcement agencies and other businesses, organizations, and individuals will hold appropriate events and ceremonies across North Carolina to celebrate the selfless public servants who wear the badge and put themselves in harm's way to keep us safe. And whereas on Peace Officers Memorial Day, we pay respect for those who have lost their lives in the line of duty and recognize with deep gratitude and critical contributions and sacrifices of all law enforcement officers and their families. And whereas during this month and throughout the year, the state of North Carolina commends our members of law enforcement at all levels and honors their courage and dedication. Now, therefore, I, Roy Cooper, Governor of the state of North Carolina, do hereby proclaim May 2021 as Law Enforcement Officers Month and May 6, 2021 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in North Carolina and commends its observance to all citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Johnson. Our guest speaker today is another good friend. District Attorney Spencer Merriweather is a career prosecutor who was sworn in as Mecklenburg County's District Attorney in 2017. Prior to becoming Mecklenburg County's Chief Prosecutor, Spencer served as an Assistant District Attorney who helped implement a community liaison program. A graduate of Princeton University, he earned his law degree from the University of North Carolina. Spencer is also a very active member of his community. He is a board member for Safe Alliance, a local nonprofit agency dedicated to survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. He's actively engaged in Charlotte's Community Building Initiative. And he is an active member of St. Peter's Catholic Church, where he teaches confirmation class to 8th and 9th graders. Spencer is married to Lila, whom he met in law school. Spencer.
Let me start with an acknowledgement that I am grateful to Attorney General Stein for the invitation to speak with you today. I'm grateful to be in this location amongst these wonderful law enforcement leaders, including Sheriff Kimbrough and our chief in Winston-Salem, Chief Johnson, President Hagler, and for the most distinguished guests that are among us today. To you, the wives, the husbands, the brothers and sisters, the sons and daughters and extended family who have offered to the people of this state a sacrifice long before the earthly passing of your loved ones. To you who had already endured the fright and the worry that comes along with knowing that the next call that your loved one answers may come with unpredictable and often unforeseeable risk. To you, I say, to you, we say, the sincerest thank you that we can muster. For today, you share with us the privilege of honoring the life and legacy of your loved ones. Let me say something to you today that we have failed in telling them as often as we should have. That we are grateful to them and that we are grateful to you. It has indeed been my privilege to serve this state as a career prosecutor for almost 15 years now. And in that time, I have certainly encountered, at this point, thousands of peace officers, deputies, troopers, and agents. And it didn't take long for me to understand that theirs was an existence that demanded competence, skillfulness, professionalism, and proficiency. And yet it wasn't until just a few years ago that I experienced my own personal awakening to the very essence at what must reside within the heart of every peace officer that swears an oath. I don't want you to misunderstand me, because I've gone to crime scenes, and I've done patrol ride-alongs, and I've visited detention facilities, and I know very well intellectually what the role of a peace officer demands. But I vividly recall the moment that it clicked for me spiritually, when I realized that what actually had to lie within those who were willing to serve and answer this most purposeful calling. And for me, that click occurred in January 2018. See, it was early on a Thursday that I actually was called to a homicide scene. A suspect had apparently knocked down the front door of the residence of his child's mother. In fact, she had barricaded it with a full-size couch. The suspect shot and killed his child's mother and left with a small child in tow. Now, while that child was later abandoned at her grandmother's home and she was safe, the suspect was at large until he wasn't at large. Because that very night he showed up at the parking lot at the Charlotte Police Headquarters. And as he headed toward the door of Charlotte's Law Enforcement Center, the suspect opened fire on a group of Charlotte patrol officers and North Carolina probation and parole officers who were preparing for a joint operation. Those officers returned fire, and they killed the suspect in a shooting that I later found to be legally justified. In fact, one of those officers suffered a non-fatal injury after being shot in the leg. But it was after I arrived at the scene, and as I watched surveillance recordings repeatedly that night, that what was just as striking as the use of lethal force against a violent assailant, what was most striking was that the very people that this person shot at were the exact ones who at critical moments did everything they could to try to save his life. Now, I imagine to these people the people who are assembled today, that's probably not so unusual. You know this as part of your protocol. You know this as part of your trainings and the high standards of your profession. But to those that aren't a part of it, it is extraordinary. It's hard for us to understand how it is that this switch gets flipped from protector in arms to caretaker, no matter the sins of the afflicted. That for all of the hardened posture of badge and gun that may make up our modern understanding of what a law enforcement officer is, that what must lie beneath that is a duty of care, a duty to care. This is the reason that this profession demands our respect and commendation, because of that very boundless duty to care that must lie within the heart of every peace officer in order to do this work. Now, let me say that a different way. A truly just and civil society will forever be dependent upon people who demonstrate this deep and seemingly endless reservoir of care. Because year after year, we find ourselves convening on occasions like these to honor this ultimate manifestation of what we, in holy places like this, exalt. And that is a servant's heart. It is this heart which drives someone to follow someone who means others harm in hot pursuit, even if it may end in a fateful collision. It is this heart which calls on someone to face dangerous crossfire in a chaotic shootout with a fugitive, knowing that it may place them, quite literally, in the ultimate harm. It is this heart which leads a person to do something as simple as approaching a vehicle, not knowing what looming danger may lurk on the other side of a car door. It is this limitless heart which makes someone do something as seemingly simple as coming to work and breathing air, exposing them to a lethal pandemic. Because the work that they have sworn to do, the heart and the valor that must lie beneath the discharge of every duty cannot be accomplished remotely. The work of a peace officer cannot be teleworked. It must be braved and endured, sometimes until it can be braved and endured no longer. And while it may seem trite to sit up here and to say all this to you, as you've heard it before, it may seem trite to speak of the lives of our living peace officers and the legacy of our departed ones in such lofty terms. It is important to say these things out loud, perhaps now more than ever. We find ourselves in a difficult moment. Our state and our nation are working through what obligations they will ask of those who have sworn to it their complete allegiance and service. This discussion is a worthy one, and scrutiny is nothing new to those who serve. But it is my prayer, and I assume that it's yours too, that wherever our society may land in its deliberations, that we will come out of this stronger, that we will be able to offer clarity and direction to our peace officers, each of whom has committed their lives to ensuring for every person that most consequential of all of our civil liberties, freedom from fear. Because despite the vibrant debates and discussions of our day, our hearts should not so harden that we fail to appreciate courage, that we fail to recognize valor, that we fail to understand the significance of sacrifice, that we fail to lift up the memory of those who have literally given everything so that the rest of us may continue to walk in peace. To these blessed families, know that you inspire all of us, as we know that it was their love for you that kept them sustained until their end of watch. May the souls of these fallen, including our friends lost just last week from the Watauga County Sheriff's Office, may they know that they are lifted up in eternal love and gratitude. Again, to you families, may you be shown nothing but kindness and generosity and grace from the truly grateful community that surrounds you. And as for the rest of us in this grateful community, may we strive to conduct ourselves and to govern ourselves as if we are worthy of this high and unspeakable sacrifice.
up so I can stand on mountains. Raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. Raise me up more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to more than I can be. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I
Thank you for that beautiful music. And District Attorney Merriweather, thank you for your meaningful words. Now we will learn a little bit about the life of each officer we've lost in the line of duty since we last met. And then Randy Hagler, the president of the Fraternal Order of Police, and Phil Wiggins, the chaplain of the Fraternal Order of Police, will present a memorial to each officer's family. A candle will be lit in honor of each officer.
Canine Officer Jordan H. Shelton, Morrisville Police Department. Canine Officer Sheldon was born March 4th, 1987 in Charlotte, North Carolina. He attended Bethel Elementary, where he played soccer and baseball, and he attended J.N. Fires Middle School. Jordan graduated from Central Cabarrus High School, where he played football. He graduated from the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, where he earned a degree in criminal justice. He completed the basic law enforcement training program at Central Piedmont Community College in 2013, where he received the top marksman award and also the highest score on the state exam. He joined the Morrisville Police Department later that year. Jordan was a member of the Honor Guard and served on the department's Special Response Team. In 2015, he was appointed to the K-9 unit, where he worked with K-9 Lockheed. Upon K-9 Lockheed's retirement, Officer Sheldon took a new partner named Ramon. He was a man dedicated to his career and took pride in constantly doing the right thing, both on and off the job. Jordan was known for being a good Samaritan his entire life, by protecting others from bullies in school, being kind to strangers, and going out of his way to help others. Given his integrity and passion, it is not surprising that he chose law enforcement as a career. Jordan was happy, kind, thoughtful, objective, charismatic, and easygoing. Some of Jordan's best qualities were his quick wit and outstanding sense of humor. He was an avid cook and also enjoyed traveling. He was loved by everyone who knew him and always saw the best in everyone, giving each person he met a fair evaluation. On May 4th, 2019, Jordan left behind a family who adored him, the love of his life, and his canine dogs, Canine Ramon, retired Canine Lockie, and Rampage, which he loved like children. Deputy Makeem R. Brooks, Northampton County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Brooks grew up in the Rocky Mount area and with an unforgettable smile, personality, and love for others. Following the lead of his mother, Makeem was raised to follow Jesus Christ and did so by serving with his gifted musicianship. After high school, Makeem continued his educational journey at St. Augustine University in Raleigh. While attending the university, Makeem followed his musical aspirations and formed the St. Augustine Gospel Choir. The choir thrives and continues to perform. Deciding to go back home, he continued his education at Edgecombe Community College. While there, he served as student government president. He developed a love for graphic arts and event planning. He had a skill of bringing people together and demanded it from everyone. Makeem reached the ultimate profession of his dreams in becoming a deputy with the Northampton County Sheriff's Office. He was a deputy for 6 months when answering a late-night call of shots fired. He lost control of his car and wrecked. He is survived by his daughters, Mariah, Sorrenti, and Kayla, his sons, Caleb and Aaron, his mom, Kimberly, and his sisters, Shantanika, Doria, and Christy. Trooper Nolan J. Sanders, North Carolina State Highway Patrol. Trooper Sanders began with the North Carolina State Highway Patrol in 2015 and was assigned to Troop C, District 2 in Wayne County as C-240, where he remained for 5 years until his end of watch on March 27, 2020, when he tragically lost his life in a motor vehicle accident. Nolan was a native of Dudley, North Carolina. He graduated from Southern Wayne High School in 2010 and then continued his education at East Carolina University, where he obtained a degree in criminal justice in 2014. Upon the completion of his degree, Nolan completed the basic law enforcement training at Wayne Community College and then began his job with the Wayne County Sheriff's Department. He worked with the Sheriff's Department for a short time until he was hired as a cadet with the North Carolina State Highway Patrol. In addition to his work in law enforcement, he also served as a captain with the Indian Springs Volunteer Fire Department, where he loved serving his community in any capacity necessary. His servant heart continued at his home church, Mount Olive Pentecostal Holiness Church, where he was also willing to help anywhere he was needed. When Nolan wasn't patrolling the Wayne County roadways, you could find him around his home in Dudley with his family. He was most proud of his daughter, Lainey, and he spent as much of his time away from work with her as possible. Nolan left a mark on so many lives, and his legacy will never be forgotten. He was truly a special person with a larger-than-life personality. His sudden death left a void in our hearts, and he will forever be dearly missed. Deputy C. Pursuit Bud Pongprachong, Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Bud, as he was known to the kids and parents he loved working with, passed away on March 31st, 2020 from COVID-19 at the age of 43. He was one of the first few cases in the area recorded, and it traced back to a cluster outbreak among school employees where he served as a school resource officer. Deputy C. Pursuit Pongprachong was born on April 8th, 1976 in Laos. His family migrated to the United States and settled in Rockingham, North Carolina. C. Pursuit attended basic law enforcement training at Montgomery County Community College after high school and was employed as a police officer in Candor, North Carolina. After serving with the town of Candor, he became a member of the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, where he served for almost 15 years. During his tenure as a deputy sheriff, he expressed a desire to work with youth and was thus assigned as a school resource officer and DARE instructor. Due to the difficulties of pronouncing his name and his closeness with people, he simply asked to be called Deputy Bud. During this time at the middle school, he not only provided protection and security, but he also volunteered with coaching several sports and activities. He was loved by all the kids and the parents. Recently, the newly consolidated East Montgomery and West Montgomery High Schools named their mascot Bud, the Timberwolf, in honor of Bud and his love of working with kids. Deputy Bud is survived by his wife, Heather, 3 daughters, Madison, Erica, and Christina, his 2 sons, Logan and Aiden, his parents, and 2 brothers. Senior Detention Officer Alexander R. Pettaway, Durham County Sheriff's Office. Senior Detention Officer Alexander Reginald Reggie Pettaway served with the Durham County Sheriff's Department for 23 years. Alexander worked to train and mentor new detention officers and helped to shape the field training program for the detention center. Alexander was born to the late Alexander and Helen Singletary Pettaway on October 28, 1964. He was a native of Kinley, North Carolina, where he was educated in Johnston County Public Schools and graduated from North Johnston High School. After graduation from Johnston Technical Institute, now Johnston Community College, Alexander enrolled at Fayetteville State University and graduated in 1989 with a Bachelor's of Arts degree in geography. He was a longtime member of St. Paul AME Church in Kinley, North Carolina. As a youngster, he attended Sunday school faithfully and did not hesitate to participate in church programs as an adult when he was asked to do so. Alexander was a no-nonsense person. He was noticeably quiet, but quietness did not mean he was weak. He was not a person for a lot of pomp and circumstances. Do what you have to do and let's go. He did not like filth, and you could find him cleaning like his life depended on it, especially at home. Reggie also liked to cook and eat. His cooking specialty was collard greens, and he loved pork skins and drinking Mountain Dew. On April 24th, 2020, at Wake Med Raleigh Campus Hospital, he slipped away peacefully to his eternal home. Alexander left a mark on so many lives, and his legacy will never be forgotten. He was truly a special person. His sudden death leaves a void in the hearts of his family members and colleagues. He will forever be missed and remembered. Deputy Ryan P. Hendricks, Henderson County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Hendricks was born on December 9, 1985 in Asheville, North Carolina, to Donald L. and Heidi J. Hendricks. He was a Christian and enjoyed attending Grace Blue Ridge Church with Pastor Morris. Ryan was homeschooled until the 8th grade and completed his high school at Hendersonville Christian School, graduating in 2004. Ryan went on mission trips to border towns in Mexico, working with children through the school program. At 19 years old, Ryan enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. He trained at Parris Island and was a squad leader for most of his time there, as well as being a sharpshooter. He graduated as a Lance Corporal Marine in 2005. He was in the Marine Reserves for 5 years and volunteered to serve a tour of duty in Iraq in 2006. He also did a 2-week training in the mountains of Morocco. Ryan began his career with the Henderson County Sheriff's Office as a detention officer in June of 2012. In May of 2015, he completed basic law enforcement training and became patrol deputy and later a field training officer. He was an active member of the SWAT team. Ryan served 8 years with the Henderson County Sheriff's Office. Ryan loved his job and was dedicated to serving the community as well. Ryan excelled in sports, especially baseball and soccer. He enjoyed fishing, hunting, biking, kayaking, and camping. Ryan's children were the loves of his life and always his greatest priority. He spent all of his days off with them and continually involved them in outdoor activities and raising animals. They also spent time with their extended family of grandparents, aunts, uncles, and many cousins. Ryan had a keen instinct in regard to life. He could see things that most couldn't. He was swift to action, and he was very intuitive. He had a magnanimous heart. He would choose not to fight, but rather help to find a better way. Ryan loved to bring humor to every situation and was always smiling. He harbored no hate, and he even wished better for those people who did. We could all learn from such character. Ryan lost his life on Thursday, September 10th, 2020, in a breaking and entering situation involving a gun. His life should not have ended this way, nor this young. This loss will leave such a giant hole in the hearts of those who loved him. Ryan is survived by his parents, his daughter, Ellery, his son, Merritt, and his fiancée, Emily Wilkins, of whom he was to marry on Saturday, October 17th, 2020. He is also survived by 6 brothers: Jamin, Laura, Jeffrey, Sarah, Timothy, Betsy, Donald, Judith, Thomas, Kinsley, and Stephen, as well as 1 sister, Abigail, David, 12 nieces and nephews, and his parental grandmother, Helen Hendricks. Deputy Lakaya L. Rouse, Guilford County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Rouse began her career with the Guilford County Sheriff's Office in 2019. She contracted COVID-19 on duty and passed away after only working with the Sheriff's Office for 10 months. Lakaya was a native of Greensboro, North Carolina. She graduated from James B. Dudley High School in 2012 and continued her education at St. Augustine University in Raleigh, North Carolina. She graduated with a Bachelor's of Science degree in sports management. Lakaya started her career with the Guilford County Sheriff's Office as a bailiff. She took great pride in her position as a deputy sheriff and was willing to go wherever she was needed. She loved her job and had a smile on her face every day. When off duty, Lakaya would spend her time with her family and friends. She loved her newborn nephew, and she spent a tremendous amount of time with him. Making a difference was something Lakaya had always wanted to do, and she accomplished that and so much more. She has left an immeasurable impact on so many lives. Her presence and legacy will never be forgotten by her family, friends, and co-workers. Her sudden death has left a tremendous void in our hearts. Our hearts were nowhere near as ready as heaven's gates were for her. She will be forever missed, but will always remain in our hearts. Lieutenant Terry Sampson, Durham County Sheriff's Office. Lieutenant Sampson was known affectionately as Terry by his family and Samp by his work family. He was raised in Wilson, North Carolina, and received his formal education in Wilson County. After graduating from Ralph L. Fike High School, class of 1979, he attended North Carolina State A&T University for a few years before relocating to Durham, North Carolina. Lieutenant Sampson began his career with the Durham County Sheriff's Office on March 8, 1990, at the Durham Detention Facility, affectionately called the 7th floor. He dedicated 30 years of service to the Durham County Sheriff's Office and the Detention Services Division. He served diligently in many capacities, from the Security Division to the Training Division. After his retirement as the C Squad Lieutenant in Detention Services, he continued to serve in part-time capacity as a background investigator. He was known across the state for his outstanding recruitment and networking campaigns. He was known for being laid back, but in his words, Somebody got to tell the story. The reality is, he was a loyal servant, serving and assisting his children, family, applicants, officers, detainees, and co-workers. Lieutenant Sampson was loved and respected by all, and he truly loved his Durham County Sheriff's Office family. We cannot forget his love for the Dallas Cowboys and the North Carolina Central University Eagles, even though he was a North Carolina A&T Aggie. His legacy will forever live on the walls of the Training and Recruitment Division. Through every officer recruited, past and present, cadets instructed, and officers mentored. Most importantly, through his Durham County Sheriff's Office family. His death has left a void, and he will be forever missed. Rest in peace, our brother, Lieutenant Terry V. Sampson, SAMP, number 905. Deputy Jared M. Allison, Nash County Sheriff's Office. Deputy Allison was born in Gainesville, Florida, but his family later relocated to North Carolina. Jared was 26 years old and had been married to his wife, Brene, for 6 years. Jared also was the father to a 9-year-old son named Colt from a previous relationship. Jared Allison graduated from Apex High School in 2013 and enlisted in the U.S. Army the same year and was assigned as a rifleman in the infantry. He was honorably discharged from the Army in September of 2014. In 2018, he decided that a career in law enforcement was something that interested him, and in December of 2018, Jared completed basic law enforcement training at Johnston Community College. Jared was subsequently hired by the Nash County Sheriff's Office in April of 2019. Since becoming a member of the Sheriff's Office, Deputy Allison was known for his infectious smile and his love for animals. He was on an episode of Saved by the Barn on Animal Planet, where he was involved in an animal rescue where he responded to while on duty. And this explains the love he had for his fur babies, Shep, Nugget, Nash, Harlow, and Mr. Ginger. In early 2020, Jared was reassigned from the Patrol Division to North Carolina's Governor's Highway Safety Program traffic team for the Sheriff's Office. The purpose of this team was to enforce motor vehicle laws and highway safety throughout the roadways of Nash County. Deputy Allison was completing these duties diligently when he was involved in a motor vehicle collision that occurred on Thanksgiving Day, November 26, 2020. Deputy Jarrett Allison passed away on December 1st, 2020. Deputy Allison can be best remembered for making a difference in the lives of all those surrounding him. Like branches from an oak, he entered this world touching the lives of many, and in his passing and hereafter will continue to make a difference for those of us left behind. Jared had many joys in his life, from his 4x4 Ford Bronco to spending time with his friends. Yet nothing could ever compare to the joy he shared with his wife, son, family members, and his law enforcement family. He fulfilled his service, and now his legacy will live on. Officer Tyler A. Herndon, Mount Holly Police Department. Born on December 13, 1994, in Charlotte, North Carolina, to parents Mark and Debbie Herndon, Tyler's family moved to Kings Mountain, North Carolina in June of 1998. Tyler was a big brother and best friend to Lindsay and boyfriend of 2 years to Holly. He attended First Baptist Church in Kings Mountain. His family remembers Tyler's childhood years, beginning at age 4, being spent at the Kings Mountain YMCA's baseball field, soccer field, and basketball court. He loved sports and continued to participate in middle school, where he ran track and played recreational soccer for the Greater Cleveland County Soccer Association. That passion carried into high school, where he ran track and cross country and played varsity soccer for Kings Mountain High School and the Greater Cleveland County Soccer Association. While in high school, he took a criminal justice elective course that further sparked his interest in law enforcement. Tyler graduated from Kings Mountain High School in June of 2013 after receiving his associate's degree at Cleveland County Community College in May of 2015. He then transferred to the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, and graduated in December 2017 with a bachelor's degree, majoring in criminal justice and minoring in psychology. He completed his basic law enforcement training at Cleveland County Community College in May of 2018 under the instruction of Mr. Aaron Vassie. Tyler began his career as a police officer for the Mount Holly Police Department in January of 2019. After overcoming the initial nervousness as a new officer, Tyler began to feel at home and recognized his calling as a police officer while he developed a close-knit relationship with his fellow colleagues and supervisors. In just under 2 years, Tyler formed a strong bond with those he worked with. He had found his home within Mount Holly Police Department and had planned to continue to work for and retire from the Mount Holly Police Department. Mount Holly was not his hometown, but he loved the streets he patrolled and the people of the community he vowed to serve and to protect. He enjoyed his job and took pride in knowing he was making a difference in the way the community viewed police officers. He also knew he had made the right decision in his career choice. A local Charlotte news channel, WCNC, aired a story in August of 2019 about Tyler and a fellow officer, Delton Williams, sharing their stories of the excellent community service they provided to the citizens of Mount Holly. Tyler's legacy will live on as Mount Holly Police Departments continue to serve them well. The selfless acts he made throughout the community will be remembered by his colleagues at Mount Holly Police Department and by people he helped along the way. He will always be known as the one who could easily light up a room with his humor and big personality. We are forever grateful for the positive impact he made on every life he touched. Just 2 days shy of his 26th birthday, on December 11, 2020, Tyler tragically lost his life protecting the city of Mount Holly. If anything is taken away from Tyler's death, our hope is that it would simply be to be good and kind to one another. Pursue the people, opportunities, and goals that make you a better person, just like Tyler did, a hero with a servant's heart who will never be forgotten. Master Corporal Norman Day, Jr., Guilford County Sheriff's Office. Master Corporal Norman Day, Jr. began his career with the Guilford County Sheriff's Office in 2003. He worked in various assignments in field operations, family services unit, and the warrant squad, where he was assigned for 5 years until his end of watch on December 12, 2020, when he was tragically lost his life to the complications from COVID-19. Norman was a native of Hillsborough, North Carolina. He graduated from Orange County High School in 1986. He started his lifelong service to his country and community by serving in the United States Marine Corps from 1987 to 1992. After serving his country, he began his career with the North Carolina Department of Corrections, where he worked from 1992 until 1994. He then worked at the Orange County Sheriff's Office from 1994 until 2003. He left the Orange County Sheriff's Office in 2003 to join the Guilford County Sheriff's Office, where he served until his end of watch. Norman spent over 30 years of his life protecting and serving his country and local community. In addition to his work in law enforcement, he also enjoyed fishing, restoring classic cars and trucks, as well as spending quality time with his parents and immediate family. Norman left a mark on so many lives, and his legacy will never be forgotten. He was a true friend with a larger-than-life personality. His sudden death left a void in our hearts and will forever be missed. Officer Jason N. Shuping, Concord Police Department. Officer Shuping was born on November 15, 1995, to Lynn and Dane Shuping. Jason was raised in Rowan County, North Carolina. He attended Rowan County schools and graduated from East Rowan High School in 2014. Jason continued his education at the University of North Carolina, Pembroke, where he graduated and double majored in criminal justice and sociology with a minor in terrorism. Jason was an accomplished athlete in both football and track and field. Jason was married to Haley Gardner Shuping in September of 2018. Jason and Haley were high school sweethearts and attended the University of North Carolina at Pembroke together. Jason and Haley were married for 2 years, and they were together for 8 years. After college, Jason sought to fulfill his calling in serving people. He enrolled in basic law enforcement training at Rowan Cabarrus Community College in February of 2019. In basic law enforcement training, Jason excelled academically and in practical environments. Jason was awarded the Top Gun Award for having the best scores in firearms training. Jason was recruited by and hired at the Concord Police Department on May 6, 2019, and he graduated BLET in June of 2019. Jason was sworn in with the Concord Police Department on July 12, 2019, and immediately began his field training. Jason excelled in field training and was released as a solo police officer on November 15, 2019. He was assigned to David District, where he served the city of Concord for the following 13 months. Jason spent some time working night shift before transferring to the mid shift, where he remained. Jason received numerous commendation chips from commanding officers and supervisors for outstanding work during his service to the city of Concord. On December 16, 2020, Jason responded to his co-worker with a single vehicle traffic crash in which the driver abandoned the vehicle. Subsequently, A search of the perimeter of the traffic crash occurred to identify and locate the driver of the vehicle. Jason, along with responding officers, were given a description of the driver provided by a citizen who encountered the driver after he attempted to open her car door and ask to use her telephone. Moments later, the driver was located at the Sonics Drive-In. The driver opened fire on responding officers, shooting and killing Jason and wounding Officer Caleb Robinson. Jason's actions in confronting the suspect driver after the driver had shot Caleb Robinson and at a North Carolina ALE agent were heroic and valiant. Jason's end of watch was December 16th, 2020. In his spare time, Jason enjoyed vacationing with Haley to Wilmington, North Carolina. He was an avid sportsman, enjoyed hunting and fishing, and was talented in completing home improvement projects. Jason loved the Carolina Panthers football team.
This time, we will have a special performance by Miss Octavia Parks, the daughter of Chief Deputy Marshal Ricky Parks of the Supreme Court of North Carolina.
Red and blue lights cover 75 like a train. Miles of cars full of people with nothing to say. The sun's out, you think that it's just another November day. Oh, and I can't help but be mad knowing I'll leave and you're gonna stay. They called me on a cell phone telling me there's an officer down. And we prayed for a miracle, but you didn't come back around. Oh, I kissed you goodbye 1,000 times, but never like I'm doing right now. Oh, with 21 shots going up for the officer down. I held you tight when they told me it's time to let go. And I know that somehow you knew that you were alone. They called me and told me it's my officer down. And I talked to you, I begged you, but you didn't come back around. Oh, I kissed you goodbye 1,000 times, but never like I'm doing right now. Oh, with 21 shots going up, I wish you had more time with
guard. Faith. Forward. March.
It's the bond of family, friends, coworkers, and community that helps to sustain us in sorrow. I hope that this service has been a reminder of that bond. To the families of Jordan, Trell, Nolan, Bud, Alex, Ryan, Lakaya, Terry, Jared, Tyler, Norman, and Jason, please accept my deepest sympathy and that of a grateful state. Thank you for being here and allowing us to remember and honor your loved one. Your presence shows such strength and courage, and may God bless you and keep you close. Chaplain Dana Patrick will now deliver a benediction.
Hear these words of blessing. As we leave this place, may the peace of God comfort us. May the power of God protect us. May the strength of God sustain us. May the wisdom of God guide us. May the joy of God fill us. May the creativity of God inspire us. May the love of God empower us. And may the light of God shine through us. Amen.
At this time, may all law enforcement officers assemble outside.
King.